This is another goddamn autofocus. This is another Cunningham fan fiction I thought it'd be kind of fun to do. And this is basically another one where I talk about the OC villains I created. A few more OC villains that I created and kind of handed over to my friend Alexander, who is going to be building. He was basically building a Randy Cunningham fanfiction storyline for him called The Ultimate Ninja, and I helped him create several villains. But I created some villains a little earlier. He's going to retool them and put them in his own story. So yeah, and I've done this before. I've talked about a few others like Splicer and Molly Midnight, but these are a few others I created, and we're going to go over a few of them. So let's start with a fun one. Let's start with Epsilon. So Epsilon is a sentient virus, sentient computer virus who was programmed by Viceroy to kill the ninja. Well, it wanted to kill the ninja, all right, but it decided, why kill the... It had this thought where it's like, the ninja's just going... There's going to be another ninja. Like, there's no possible way the ninja's... Like, it already figured out there's no way... It didn't figure out Randy's identity, but what it did figure out was that the ninja's not immortal. It's a title. So Epsilon's thought process is, if I kill the ninja, there'll be another one. So I know, I'll kill every human in Norrisville, and that will officially destroy the ninja. Well, you can imagine how that goes. So Epsilon is a AI, and I thought it'd be a fun opponent for Randy to take on, because Epsilon can just take over machinery, he can take on appliances, anything that is like digital or computer, he can take over. Like, he can just hijack and take over. So it's someone Randy can't physically attack. It's someone he has to fight other people through. He has to think outside the box to take on Epsilon. And that was kind of the idea, is he can't just punch this guy. He has to think he has to think and try to outsmart Epsilon any chance he gets. So that was kind of the thought process for this character. Anyway, so moving on. Next up we have Scrap Heap. Now Scrap Heap is a character who is a former... he was an engineer for another company that was bought out by McFist, and McFist fired him, and he was already, his life just tumbled after that. He lost after losing his job because McFist was like, I'm going to cut you. I'm going to lay off everyone in this buyout that I don't need. So this dude lost his family, he lost his job, he lost his home, and now he was just a worker at a scrapyard that was owned by McFist. But as he was working there, he would see just tons and tons of smashed robots lying around. So this guy was a brilliant engineer. He basically forged an armor out of the dead robots and planned to get his revenge on McFist. And he actually wanted to team up with the ninja. He even tried to get the ninja on his side. It's like, help me kill McFist and we can team up and do it. But of course Randy's like, I'm not going to kill the guy. I'm not going to do that. And he tries to protect McFist from him. So this leads to him and Scrap Heap coming at odds, because Scrap Heap really wants to... and actually it's funny because that's not what he calls himself. The guy's real name is Douglas, and it's actually Howard who gives him the name Scrap Heap. He was him and Debbie are working together on the page is oh, this new villain made out of robot parts is attacking McFist's company. What do we call him? And he's like, hey, dude looks like a scrap heap. And Debbie goes, Scrap Heap, perfect, love it, I'm gonna run with it. So he gets his name from Howard and Debbie, who call him Scrap Heap. And he's just and Douglas is like, guess I'm Scrap Heap now, alright. Guess I'll call myself Scrap Heap. That's not what I wanted to do, but I'm doing it. So, following that, we have DK. Now, D and K, OK. So yeah, DK. DK is literally a white rapper. He's a white rapper who's literally... Picture, a white rapper who's, this trash mouth, trust fund bitch who pretends like he's thug, but he's not really, and also kind of low-key racist, and basically coasts off of his daddy's money. That's DK. Think Kid Rock with superpowers. So there you go, DK. So DK is a white rapper who is basically laundering money from some very, very bad people who, after stealing some money from some of his investors, who are mobsters, they lure him to, like, he goes to meet them with them at a toxic plant, and the ninja arrives to bust up this whole thing. And during the scuffle, he gets exposed to toxic waste and his body just gets like rotting and whatnot, but it won't stop. Like, his body's now corrosive. Like, he can still talk and think, but like whatever he touches can rot and decay. So he literally became his namesake, DK. He's more of a thug. He is not very bright, and he wants to kill the ninja and just he just rots everything he touches. He's also capable of like throwing like just acidic radioactivity at something and just melt it. That was kind of and also Randy can't punch him because if just touching him is acidic, and throwing his weapons at him is just like he'll just melt on contact. So his body's just like this rotting radioactive flesh that he can't like physically touch. He has, again, it's one of those think outside the box kind of kind of opponents. Next up, we have Tar. Tar is a really fun one because he's basically a monster made of magic. It was one of the kids at school who creates Tar from using the occult to make like a golem-like creature out of asphalt. And Tar is this monster who was made to fight bullies, namely Bash. And more or less what happens is that Tar is like just this being who's kind of like has Clayface-like abilities where he can like stretch or like morph himself into other things. He's not intelligent, but he is like he is very powerful. And again, another opponent. Like, I love having opponents where the hero has to think outside the box to fight them. So that's Tar. Tar with 2 R's. Because you gotta have a little fun with your character names. Next up, we have the Mind Master. So the Mind Master is a guy who was part of a CIA project who wanted to create their own psychics. But really what happened was the CIA went a little too overboard on this guy and amplified his powers, and now he's like messed up mentally and goes around in a weird 60s villain era costume calling himself the Mind Master. And he can basically, like, he has telepathic and psychic abilities. He can like create illusions, he can create he can alter your mind's perception of the world, telekinesis. He's very powerful but also very like mentally unstable, so that's dangerous. He's also the creator of our next villain, and that is Manic. Manic is actually a villain created from Teresa, Randy's love interest. So Manic is her id. It's her darkest ambitions and fears and anxieties that are unleashed. Mind Master unlocks Manic, her dark persona, and Manic is like everything Teresa wants to be. Like, she dresses up in BDSM costumes. She has a very foul mouth and like very like seductive, and even like tells Randy, the only reason she wanted to date you is because she has daddy issues. Her dad, like, we have the headcanon that Teresa's dad left her at a young age, so she has daddy issues, and that's why she's so invested in Randy, because she's afraid of being alone. So yeah, it's kind of like she's evil, and also like she's also all of that anger that Teresa keeps down about Randy being the ninja, and all of that anger and anxiety, and it's all just bubbled up and made into a physical personification of just evil. So Manic becomes Mind Master's like ally, but she's more like, fuck you, I'm free. But if you're gonna beat the shit out of the ninja, I'm in. But the second that happens, I'm gonna turn on you. So there you go. I just thought it'd be kind of fun to talk about a few more original villains. I was thinking about talking about some of the other villains that I didn't create, but I thought that'd be kind of mean to Alex. For his story, The Ultimate Ninja. This is not connected to the Infinity Verse, by the way. And these were characters I thought of for other Randy Cunningham stories, but I just never got around to doing them. So I was just like, hey, I'll just give them to Alex since he's doing a Randy Cunningham story and let him run wild with it. Anyway, so there you go, guys. That is a few more OC Randy Cunningham villains. You guys comment below, let me know. What did you guys think of these? Did you guys like them, hate them? And as always, if you haven't already, go hit the link below to my Patreon. Become the member of the 4th tier, and you guys can actually request videos for me to do here. I just posted 2 new videos on there of a new fight video, and excuse me, not a fight video, but a new Faction Wars video and a new hero-villain mashup video on there. So I hope you all enjoyed this. Once again, I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.